Hold on. Can you hear me now? Good. Uh, I had it muted. I know nobody wants to see me eat. It's definitely been a Monday, for sure. So, yeah, I got my notes, timestamps, so much shit. And then, even still, at the end of the day, coffee time. I realized that I was late. And I was like, ah, shit, I might as well just go in there. So, there are, I saw a car too last night, a really old, I think it was a Chevy. And it was red, like that Coca-Cola red with it had white wall tires and everything. And I was like, oh, it so reminded me of you. My mouth is full. I didn't want to be rude. But thank you for coming. I kind of wasn't really sure what to do with the title because I have so much stuff to talk about. Hopefully this won't be like a really, really long live, but we'll see what happens. But the name of that channel is True Crime with the Psychic Goddess. And so I know some people don't necessarily like agree with the it's been 4 months since you bought a car. Don't even get me started on the last time I even owned a car because of all the car troubles I've had over the years. And affording a classic car, I couldn't even. Because then as soon as a repair comes, I'm like, sell it, repair it, sell it, repair it. Probably going to sell it because I can't afford to repair it. But I give you this, those older cars, the big body cars, those they're solid ass frames, man. I would much rather be in one of those cars and get into a car wreck than be in one of these little recycled beer cans on the road these days. So it's like that's a long time for me. My whole issue, since we're going to talk about cars for a minute, while we wait on people to come in, it's not so much. It's that I don't have a license, and I have this like stubborn mentality about me that I just absolutely refuse to try to get one. I'm like, I'm a good enough driver. I don't need to go to the DMV and have nobody tell me that I can take a test and I can drive. I don't need to do that. Plus, that whole thing was like, I went to go take my test and I finally went and got insurance and everything. And when I get there, they're like, oh, you have an unpaid seatbelt ticket. You need to go take care of that first. And I was like, uh-huh, I'll be right back. Not, mm-mm. And then I've been driving everything. This is what I do. Swear to God, this is how I handle it. Excuse me, every time I go. So I'll get a ticket, and usually that ticket is for what they say it's driving on revoked, but straight took out a tree. Was you in it when it took out a tree? My mama did that with a Volkswagen and a phone pole. Seriously. And I was like, Mom, my mom was crazy back in the day. She tries to act like she wasn't, but she was. And I guess that's where I get it from. But like, I'll never forget the first time I told my daughter, I was telling my daughter a story about my mom. And of course, my mom's still around. But Holly goes, you mean Mimi did what? And I said, yeah, Mimi did that. And she goes, my Mimi is a saint. I said, your Mimi is far from a saint. She goes, I can't believe you would say that about Mimi. I'm like, I can't believe you don't know your Mimi better than that by now. Like, come on. I'm 36 and my daughter's 20. Yeah. So we all kind of grew up together. My mom, of course, she was in her I think she's in her late 20s when she had me and my sister. But Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you. Oh my goodness. Yes, I was in it. Yes, I was in it. I've been in a. I've been in one car wreck, and I did not have a license. I should not have been driving. I was driving a rental car while we were waiting on all the paperwork and stuff to go through the car that is the first car I bought, and it was a 2002 Dodge Stratus. And so we're all waiting on all the stuff to go through to get that. The dealership, for some reason, had offered to put us in a rental car. We already had our own vehicle, so I don't even know why this was necessary. I'm sure the man regrets that because what happened afterwards. So we get the rental car, and it's like a Mitsubishi Lancer, and it's freaking sweet. So I had to drive it. And I'm on my way to a friend's house one day. My mom's taking me because she's supposed to be driving the car. My dad was really adamant about that. And of course, as soon as we get around the corner from the house, I'm like, let me drive, let me drive. And she does. And I end up T-boning this lady in coming out of a parking lot. I'm pulling out, and I have what is it? I'm nearsighted in one eye, I'm farsighted in the other, so I cannot judge depth perception. I think that's a astigmatism. I'm not sure. But anyways, so like if it's 6 feet away or 2 feet away, it looks the same to me. I cannot tell. And that's why I'm supposed to have corrective lenses when I drive. So I'm looking, I don't even see this woman who in less than 5 seconds is about to be in front of me. Of course, I pull out and I T-bone her. And then I realize, oh my God, we're in a wreck. They're going to have to call the highway patrol. Oh shit, I don't have a license. So like I jump out of the car, run over to the lady. I'm like, look, I have a license, but it's not on me. So my mom's going to take the rap for this. I'm glad. Is everything okay? And I make sure everybody in the car is okay and all that. And the lady's just, I guess she's in shock. Of course I am too. And she's like, okay, okay. The state trooper kind of like was looking at me because I'm hysterical crying by the time he gets there. And he's like, are you sure she wasn't driving? My mom was like, no, she wasn't driving. Why would she be driving? I was driving. She didn't have a license. That's crazy. I literally got a job that summer just to make enough money to pay my mom's court costs and her ticket and all that stuff. Yeah. Still hasn't occurred to me. Maybe you should just get a damn license, Emma, and you wouldn't have to do all this. Well, no. For one, I honestly feel like for the small amount of time that I leave the house and the short amount of time that I'm on the road when I do leave the house, I am seldom the one driving. And in the times that I am, it's not worth it for me to get car insurance because I swear I'm not going to hit nobody. I'm more than likely somebody is going to hit me before I hit somebody else because I pay attention when I'm on the road. I can't text and drive. Hell, I can barely text and walk. So that should be pretty obvious too. I mean, I am blonde. So the first thing I want to talk about is the algorithm. And the algorithm is how I have found most all of you people that I've found in the true crime world, and also how I have found a lot of other stuff I wish I hadn't found because of the algorithm, unfortunately. And now I'm subscribed to a really wide variety of channels on YouTube. I mean, it's insane how many channels I'm subscribed to and the different types of subject matter that they talk about. But so while I'm over here having babies and trying to start a family at 14, you're over here wrecking cars and trucks into trees and shit. We're off to a great start, Arctic. I know we're going to change the world at that point. Oh my goodness. Well, my mama, when she drove that Volkswagen up the phone pole, is right in front of the school. It's like literally a phone pole that's in the school's on the school's property. Yeah, it's insane. Like my mom, and my mom is smaller than I am. She is shorter than I am. She's a tiny little woman, but boy, is she a feisty one. Or she was back in the day, because now she's pretty chill. Why is it saying hide the current? I'm not sure what that's about. Keep on scrolling. Let's see. So the algorithm is how I found a lot of the channels that, especially in the true crime community. But what I like about the algorithm is the order in which I have found all of these channels. So like in the true crime community, because I've been subbed to you for at least a couple months now, because I've been doing this true crime thing. It seems like it just got started to some people, to anybody that's new here. it seems like I just got started in this true crime thing. I've actually been in this true crime thing for a while. It's only recently that I started being like, okay, we got to talk about some things, people. Time out, time out. Hold up. Which is why I'm really surprised that there are that there are not. I mean, there are more channels out there that are like yours. I don't think any of them still cover as many cases as yours does. And it just bugs the piss out of me when I go and look at some of their subcams. I'm like, why are these channels not being? It's that algorithm. So the algorithm can suck, but the algorithm, blah, blah, can't words for garbage. So the algorithm can also be really cool for me because it's how I found a lot of the true crime channels. And like I found yours and I found TC Spotlight around the same time. I've been subscribed to channels like Linda at It's a Crime for a couple years now. And that's how I found Chris McDonough. And I watch or I follow Profile in Evil, but not as much, only because from a spiritual aspect in the true crime community, I know how some creators feel. And while I can see both sides of the fence, it's hard for me to sit in on a more Christian based channel just because my religious views, well, religion and me are not friendly with one another, I guess is how you would say. I'm more, when my daughter asked me this a couple summers ago, she's like, so would you say you're religious? I was like, no, I would say I'm spiritual. Religious, no. I used to be when I was younger. And I've had a lot of unfortunate experiences through churches that I went to. And so that is part of the reason why I am not religious and I am spiritual. Also, PTSD things due to trauma that I've had with losing my son and all that. It's honestly, I feel like the older I've gotten and the more I've educated myself on certain things, that's why I'm a spiritual person, because religions, to me, in my opinion, they're just cults. They're divisive, they're oppressive, and they're very tactful in their line of work. And obviously, multi-level marketing and mega churches, to me, are like one and the same. They really are. And it's crazy to me that people can't see that in 2022. It's like we have this much technology. We have the internet at our hands. Most of us have it readily available on a 24-hour basis. I didn't grow up like that. And I also grew up while we had technology, but not having access to certain kinds of technology. That's how I look at it too. It's like, I love that. It's the same to me. It's a book. It's another book. It's got a lot of information in it. The information I feel like in it is so cryptic that it's hard for me to take it at face value, for one, and take it very literal the way some people do. Like, all that is the biggest fear mongering thing especially when you read the book of Revelations. Like, how do y'all not see that as fear mongering? Like, anyway, that's another reason why I don't, religion and politics and that kind of stuff, I kind of stay out of. However, with this true crime thing, it keeps rearing its ugly head. And one particular religious group and its many offshoot sects, as you want to call it, or cults, that are little sub branches of cults within this religious group, are affiliated with almost every single one of these cases that I've come across so far, except for one. And I'm just trying to find out more information with this one case, only because these people don't strike me as a type of religious folk, but it's a very common thing out there in their area. So, but I love Stephen King novels, though. In fact, when I was getting dressed today, I debated on wearing this other t-shirt that I have that's got the It Clown on it, and it says, I eat children. And I was like, I probably should not have that shirt on, at least when I do the live stream. That would be way inappropriate. That would be almost like a certain someone inappropriate who just. And I hope and pray that little rumor that I read about them two and her possibly being with child and it being his, I was like, and y'all gonna put the abortion debate on the table right now? That's please don't do that. So I want to talk about those things. And I literally went, and each video that I've watched with the algorithm, it brought this this particular case. It brought it to me way late in the game, and I'm really sad about that. I know, right? It just people would be like, "I'm so confused." I'd be like, "What are you confused about? What is there to be confused about? If they're bad, that's what." Oh my god! Oh my goodness! I just got what you said, and I was like, "Oh, to heavens to Betsy! If you wore that shirt, I almost want to mail you the." You are too much. You should have stayed a comedian because oh my goodness, that was freaking hilarious. Um, that reminds me of what I have in this timestamp of okay, that babysitter. That babysitter has me pissed off because for one, I don't like how she just went out there and started disseminating what I call third party information because it's literally at that point it is a third party that she's passing it on. And I was like, look at her relaying this third party information. It's like she's fucking Cookie Monster. Nom 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 nom. Like, stop. But there's something about her, and I think since I went ahead and brought it up, I think personally, when it comes to this, when he says that there is a camera in the house, like how would she know that when I jumped out and scared the older daughter, like how would she know that if there wasn't a camera in the house? And I was like, well, that's a fucking no-brainer. She would know that because she was there. And you're saying there's a camera in the house because she probably wasn't supposed to be there, and you're covering your ass, which would explain a lot of why B is so conflicted and coming off the way that she is, because yeah, she probably is in denial, and she probably doesn't want to believe that he's done something. I don't really know. That's the vibe that I got off of that after I found out about this babysitter, who I think is about, she's literally a Jody Sue Jr. And I have, more than anything after today, I have a fuck ton of questions for her. And I have timestamps, and I would just love for her to answer some of these questions. And if you notice in this particular video, this live stream that I've watched 3 times now, which means I have literally put in 15 hours alone on that one live stream because it's 5 hours long. I've watched it all the way through 3 times. And the 3rd time around was when I was like, wait a minute. Let's back it up to this particular last little bit, starting at we're almost 4 hours into it. So it's about 10 minutes before the 4-hour mark. And that's where she comes up. Actually, I think she's been on there for a couple minutes before that, but this is where the really important stuff starts being tossed out, like verbal diarrhea. And that is, let's see, she starts talking about a pillow. And that made me think there's also some debate going on within the Wells case and a pillow and all that shit. Hey, thank you for joining. We're talking about some true crime stuff and a particular video that I watched 3 times over now with true crime with Psychic Goddess, and the babysitter is on there. And which I want to make the point, they didn't reach out to her. She inserted herself into this live stream. There's an alleged pillow. Everything that I'm going to talk about in this video is alleged because we really don't have no way to verify any of it to this point. I'm still also waiting on some information that has to do with things like the shop. Like, did they have their own like shop? That, because a lot of dudes, when they say shop, it means their garage. It's like attached to the house, and they go out there and they do their man cave shit. So I wanted to know a little bit more about that. But I also wanted to know about the pillow, since she's so concerned about him and this pillow that she just desperately had to have, and allegedly asked Brandy for about 2 days after Monkey went missing. And then all of a sudden, through all this distress, she just suddenly forgot it. And now this pillow is in the possession of one of their good friends. So she doesn't have it. Neither does Brandy and Tyler. This other, again, third-party Cookie Monster has the pillow. And then she also says that the reason why she was there babysitting was because she was helping her friends out and saving them from this bad situation. what was the bad situation you're saving them from, if you were, in fact. Also, she says that the kids that she was babysitting, because aside from their kids, she was also babysitting like 3 other kids. She needed this because she needed a distraction. Distraction from what? Because I heard you mention a husband too. Moving right along. I said, what? Because they asked her then, like, why were you allegedly let go from your position of the babysitter? Again, all of this is alleged. And she says that she just found out that day that it was supposedly because she was too mom-like and that she was trying to have a thing with Tyler. Now, the second that I found out that there was a babysitter and there was some speculation about some incidents that occurred that day, and the babysitter kept interjecting her timeline or whatever her opinion was, I was like, no, something's going on with Tyler and the babysitter. This is just my opinion. This is because of this gift that I have, that once people start talking to me about certain things, if I tap into the spiritual realm part of that, there's nothing I can do about what happens next. Because it's like, I guess the term that people in that world would call it, what I do is I'm a seer. And so I can, like, you can be telling me something, and as soon as your mouth opens, there's like it's almost like a projector screen on your forehead that I can basically see. And everything that because while you're telling me stuff, the truth is playing over in your head on a reel. That way you can keep up with it and maintain your lie to a point. And I can see that. I can see all of that. As soon as you open your mouth, it starts rolling. I can see it, and I can see the truth while seeing the bullshit coming out of your mouth. And I hate that, which is why sometimes I won't even get involved with some of this stuff, because as soon as people start talking, sometimes I can just see, I can't even shut it off no matter what I do. And as soon as this chick came about and started doing that, I was like, please make it stop. I don't want to do this right now. I'm still busy with other shit. But I couldn't. And so that's what I felt right out the gate. I was like, no, there's no camera. And then I really started, I'm like, at this point, I'm like, damn it, I have said some shit, and it has nothing to do with Brandy. And Brandy, if you're listening, stop beating yourself up. Whatever it is, don't end up like Candace and keep being silent about it. If you really weren't there and you didn't have anything to do with it, you need to stop covering for other people that were. That's all I have to say about that as far as you go. Now I'm back on the babysitter shit. Okay. Because that's how I am about this. Because if I do get too emotionally invested or whatever, then it's going to cloud my judgment. And sometimes it can also affect my seeing abilities. It really can. It can get in the way with that. And sometimes it can completely block me out from doing it anymore if I get too emotionally involved with these cases. Because I think the spiritual realm knows how that can factor into your ability to read things properly. And I said, whether it was her husband, because she mentions that she has a husband, whether or not it's her husband or Brandy, either one, that was speculating if that speculation about her wanting to make a thing with Tyler is even true, or if that's just some bullshit she spouted off in the live to fucking have something to talk about, is irrelevant to me. What I want to know is, and I do believe that there was something that she done that caused speculation, either from Brandy or from her husband, one, which is possibly why they may really have been, in fact, about to let her go. I don't think that necessarily has anything to do with, well, it possibly could, because it could explain a lot of things if she was there, and why he would have been so distracted and not seen him. That could be why she blames herself, why she's so upset. Thank you. See, she literally, when I was like, who is this Jody Sue fucking Jr. over here just literally insinuating herself all up in this case, when, like, unless you're going to tell us what we need to know and what's going to help find Michael, you need to shut the up. Because you're not helping. In fact, after that interview, or I'm going to send you a link, you got to watch it. She didn't do anything to help in regards to Brandy and Tyler. And neither did freaking, oh my gosh. Her PR person is a big supporter of BK. Literally, gang in his chat all day. all day, supporting him, giving him money and all that shit. And the reason why I'm saying something about it is because I do not want that dumpster fire anywhere near Brandy or the case. They don't need that. They don't need that fucking drama. He needs to stay away. So she needs to fire that bitch and she needs to block that bitch ASAP. I know I would. But that's what I love about you too, Aria, is that we have different points of view about all this stuff. But if we can keep coming back and having conversations throughout all this, exchanging information that we know is like actual, factual information or information that we think is going to be relevant to solving the case, then that's what we're supposed to be doing. That's what, honestly, law enforcement is supposed to be doing. But I guess they don't feel like it's their job or it's not worth it. So, But also, this is something else I'm going to talk to you about behind the scenes. I don't think, and I do think, let's see, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. I've stumbled upon something completely by accident on Facebook because of opening up my Facebook to outside friends of friends to where the public can send friend requests. So I've stumbled upon something that I think may end up being very important to all of these cases, because I think that they might possibly be connected. And even though they may not realize why or what it is that's got them connected right now, I think I'm getting close to it. And I don't want to spill the beans yet because I don't want to scare anybody away or give anybody a tip ahead of time and drop the ball. So with that, I'm going to leave that right there. But it just rubbed me all the wrong way, because then if you listen to the babysitter stuff, she keeps being like overly protective of Tyler, and in a way that comes off like very like girlfriend boy. Yeah, thank you for joining. It gives that kind of vibe, like how Brandy is also being protective. She's being like that, but protective of him towards from Brandy almost is the vibe that I got from it. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I don't like the way she is. It's like, I don't like the way she's making Brandy or any of this case look. She's not making herself look good, for one, but she's certainly not helping. Not to mention, if you're watching that one video that I'm discussing where she's up there, you can literally see, because she's wearing glasses like me, she is up there reading. She's not paying attention to what those women are asking her. She doesn't care. She is paying attention to what's being said in the chat and trying to cover her ass. And I don't like that. Why there should be no need for you to come over here and try to cover your ass unless you did something wrong. That's how I felt about that. I was like, I wonder if, she knew that she was over there saying all that shit about her. And it's like, if you cared about anybody involved with that, you wouldn't even be on YouTube running your mouth, lady. I think her name was Jennifer. Yeah. Then she doxed one of the kids that know, and hopefully, they take care of that. But yeah, I thought that was real shitty too. I don't think she meant to, but it really pissed me off. I was like, nobody knew that. Nobody knew that. Nobody needs to know that. And also, was it really relevant to everybody in that live stream that night for you to mention that part? You could have said, yeah, everybody was thinking I was being too mommy to the kids or whatever. But to interject that part about TV after the fact just felt to me more like a jab towards B and not actual interjection of valid and credible, possible, useful information. It just felt like bullshit. It felt like catty dart throwing coming from her most of the time. I didn't like it. And in that sense, that's the reason why I try to stay unbiased when it comes, and just strictly keep that in mind, that it is about the kids, because that way I'm able to see, at sometimes people are kind of attacking her, and it is fucking shitty as hell. And when I see stuff like that, which is why I decided to do this, like, I'm calling that. Don't do that, Jennifer. No, not a good look for you. Not a good look for you at all. It's also got people looking at you some type of way because you keep inserting yourself into the case. And literally in that one, she kept talking about how she was having a bad week, and it's been a bad couple of months for her, and everything was about her. Barely anything about Michael at all. Which, if you guys are wanting to do that whole team Brandy, team everybody else thing in that situation, I'm definitely gonna be on team Brandy. That bitch didn't have nothing to bring to the table, except a bunch of shit about feeling sorry for her and trying to get everybody on her side. And no, that's a quick way to get me off your side and just scoping you up and down like, you look about like Jody Sue does right now. Just can't do it. So, and the same thing, like, I don't like how we are being so wishy-washy sometimes. Like, we're giving one side, one case, a free pass, in the other case we're attacking them, and then vice versa. I don't like that. That's the reason why I think what I think about all these cases, and I'm not going to say that right away just yet, because I want to make sure that I'm pretty sure that I'm right. And based on a lot of the shit that I've seen lately, I'm pretty sure that I'm right. I've only heard one other creator that does true crime even mention it, and they've only mentioned it one time, and it was in a live stream. I think it was in a video they uploaded yesterday. It was Mind Shock, and it was about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing. But honestly, I've noticed some things that literally connect dots from there all the way throughout true crime cases that have occurred since 2020, all the way back to one in particular that happened in 2018. And yes, you'd be surprised, but I think, honestly, I think he's right, and I think he's onto something. And oh man, if that's true, we're all dumb. If that's true, we're all dumb. If I'm right, it's going to be really sad, and we're not dumb. We're just still very much in the dark about a lot of stuff, if that's the case. And it's sad. And we need to be super vigilant and even more hyper aware of people in the community and stuff like that. If my theory is right, I hope his theory is right, and that mine is wrong, and that once it's all said and done, and if his theory is right, then we'll get to bring a lot more kids home. And I hope he's right with his theory. So that's what I've noticed over, because I think I've been doing this true crime thing. If my podcast stuff is on that phone, I've been doing it for several months now, and the algorithm led me down a certain path in a certain way, and I think it did that for specific reasons, and that's what leads me to no, I should I love again, I think the reason why sometimes I'm more open to that stuff is because of the spiritual realm of things that I know about. Like, I think that's the reason why I am more open. Have you heard of Nora Jasmine? Because if you haven't, there is a video that she did, I think it's earlier this year or maybe even last year, about 50 crazy conspiracies that turned out to be true. Okay. And you would be shocked. And trust me, my girl Nora, she brings receipts. She's got back it up. So, but I do like Mind Shock's weird little voice, and his podcast is pretty cool. His different theories and stuff. I only found him like within the last couple months too, because of when they started leaking out all that new Delphi stuff. Yeah, she's real soft spoken sometimes. That Delphi stuff had me fired up, still has me fired up. But again, it's one of those things that has me thinking there might be some truth to his theory there. Did you see that video? The video he uploaded yesterday is like all the highlights from the Depp Heard thing, and oh my goodness, how her lawyer can drop the P word that many times in an open courtroom and keep a straight face and even half-ass act like a lady after that. Because I know I got a dirty mouth. The P word is not one that you will probably ever hear me say. If you do, it's usually in an angry, calling someone out kind of way. It's never in the context in which they were discussing that word, because, oh Lord, no, I can't stand it. It's an auditory thing that something about that just, it's cringy. It rubs me all the wrong way. And so when I heard that old woman say, I was like, you're an attorney. Like, how do you let yourself say that in an open courtroom? I don't understand. And I'm not even in the least bit classy, but come on. Like, what the fuck? That's what I was just thinking. Like, I could not have been in that court. I couldn't have been on the deposition. I couldn't have been a witness because as soon as any of them started saying stuff like that to me, I would have lost it. I don't know how he did. I know that's right. She did come off like that. And the way Johnny's lawyer was just like repeating herself, and she would look, Amber would look at her like with that bitch look on her face, and she would just be like, bitch, I know you heard me. Let me repeat myself though, just in case you didn't. I was like, that Camille chick, she's on fire. But again, she looks really familiar to me. Like I swear I have seen, she almost looks like Jodi Arias with curly hair. And it's like, don't y'all try to put Jodi out here with some curly hair, get me tripped up, think I don't recognize a bitch. Get me all messed up. Like, I knew it. I knew it. There's somebody else too the other day. Well, actually, believe it or not, I know someone who literally, to a T, as far as facial recognition, if you was to shave Jody Sue's head and put a mustache on her, you would have my best friend, Steve, one of my good friends, Steve. Oh my goodness. And somebody else. Oh, actually, believe it or not, my ex-sister-in-law's husband, if you put a ponytail on him and a little bit longer eyelashes, he looks just like Brandy. And I was like, I even asked my buddy, I was like, if you shaved Brandy's head, she would look like Shannon, would she not? And he was like, oh shit, she would. He was like, oh my God, that's kind of creepy how much them two look like. I have to do a superimposed I can show you because they look, it's like, it's so creepy how much they look alike. I can't get over. I almost wonder if maybe they're like not siblings and just don't know about it or something, because that's how much he could pass for her twin. Is it, I really don't think he did it. I really don't. Something tells me that there is this I cannot remember the dude's name. I'll have to look it up, but there's an American Justice episode about this guy. He's got blonde hair. He was driving a minivan, and he was in the neighborhood at the time that the murders happened. He was also in trouble for some suspicious shit at that time. The name will come to me eventually, and he even confessed to them, and they just ignored the confession. I was like, wait a minute, we got this dude over here. Wait, what? That's so messed up. I don't get why we ignore stuff in some cases. And then, do you know about the Megan Walsh thing with John Walsh, Megan Walsh, and all that court stuff with her kids? And I believe her. And the reason why I believe her is because as soon as she started questioning his narrative, or as soon as she started questioning the story and asking questions about her brother's death, because remember, she was born after him. That's when they started, attacking her with the mental illness, and coming from someone that has had mental illness and been basically persecuted for it my whole life. Like anytime something goes wrong, oh, it's her mental illness. Anytime a narcissist would get called out by me, she's crazy. She doesn't know what she's talking about, and use that as a tool to like discredit me. And I can't freaking stand that. And seeing her going through that, plus she went to school here in North Carolina, and she lived in India for several years. And like, I have like, my heart is with India. I love Indians, and obviously for obvious reasons, but also spiritually, it's a deep connection and draw for me. India is. And so that's why I think that she's telling the truth. Granted, how I found out about her was through JLR, and we know how I feel about him. Like, whoosh, tell me I'm lying. But yeah, I know, right? Because that one is one I go back and forth with on that one, because it's like, damn, but you can see why her story is believable. Granted, the way they blew everything up, and then he got that show. He did his America's Most Wanted. One of her brothers is also a host with him on that right now. And then I can't remember what she said the youngest brother does, but also I would love to hear, and I do feel bad for her. I feel incredibly bad for her and her brothers having to grow up in in the limelight like that and basically be shadow to Adam, even though it's like they probably don't see it that way. And it's probably fucked up for me to say it like that, but it kind of comes off that way because like they never really got the full attention they deserved as children because of the death of their sibling. And damn, damn, I can totally see how that would have had an impact on my kids as well after my son passed away. That's some heavy ass shit. That's some heavy ass shit. I had to sit there for a minute and just be like, well, I know especially early on after my son passed away, I know for a fact that shit, it was impacting me. It was definitely impacting my kids because hell, I could barely even fucking function most of the days because of just grieving and fucking trying to block out the grief. And that whole process was like, that's heavy shit. So that's why I do try to tread lightly with these, and it is also very much why I'm not ever going to do true crime to the extent that true crime creators do, because like, and I don't envy y'all one bit. And I have mad respect for y'all, especially the ones that do it and do it the right way and actually care about these kids and these cases and stuff. Like, we need that kind of stuff. Like last night, I think it was last night. Yeah, because the night before that might have been when me and you and Ash were talking. But last night I was watching her video on Joshua Bohannon. So I haven't got as far into that where they found him and stuff, but I was watching her video about that last night, and wow, like there's that case and Aaron Key and that Caitlin Ledbetter in Tennessee that also, I have all of these cases names written down over here in a notebook. It might be this one. It may be in another one. It's probably in both of them, honestly. This is one of many with all this stuff that I have written down about all these cases and like key points of stuff that I think is important that like people are just not talking about when they should be. And for whatever reason, I understand that some stuff is not going to get talked about because it can't get talked about, especially sometimes on YouTube. And we'll just go over that as it comes along. Like, I was talking to Ash about this unique perspective that I have in the Summer Wells case, regarding the rich old woman could have took her theory, because it is a very real possibility. I do know women that would fit that profile that wouldn't have abducted her and left her parents in the dark, would have more likely like arranged what we would call like a, okay, we'll see then, what you would call it, an illegal adoption, I guess that's what you would call it maybe. So I wanted to go over that in the future as well, but because I also have to protect members of my family's privacy, that's when I have to navigate extremely carefully and very bit by bit. So I really feel like and again, I'll leave all of this open for discussion. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. And if you have any information that you think will be helpful to this, then by all means, please leave a comment and let me know. I prefer if you are going to interject information that could potentially be harmful to the family or the case, that you fact check it first, because I'm not going to put out stuff that's not true and it's not factual. And if you try to comment or leave it in my comment threads, I'm just going to take it down if I know that it's not factual. But as with both these cases, if you have any information regarding Summer Wells, then call the TBI, which is the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. If you have any information regarding Michael Monkey Vaughn's case, then please give it to the FBI or the Idaho State Bureau of Investigation if they have one. I haven't really heard about that yet. I'm assuming that they do, because that would probably be most appropriate and standard for most states having their own branch of the federal bureau. So I want to make sure that I'm not leaving anything. Because it's just super important to me that we have context behind a lot of the stuff that's been said and is currently going on with these cases. And remember that, unfortunately, not everybody is going to have the same views and opinions as you when it comes to these cases. However, this is a very public platform, and oftentimes the victims' families and friends are in the chat. They may not make themselves known, but they are there. And so be kind and respectful, and at least take that in consideration when leaving your thoughts and comments. I know I recently have become more aware of this, and also trying to be more mindful and respectful when discussing these very, very personal and sensitive topics. So, yeah. So, if you like anything that you heard or discussed here, share it. Share it. Make sure you get the information out there. This true crime series also has other videos with it if you want to go back on the channel and check that out. I'm getting the playlist updated every so often. And I also have a podcast. It's called Gigi's Midnight Rants, and it's on Anchor and Spotify. And there's a couple of episodes about this true crime series as well. Also, keep in mind, I'm not a true crime creator. I'm just a true crime observer and a spiritual true crime observer from that aspect. And I discuss things in regards to that side of it. Try to remain as unbiased as possible and keep an open mind always. So I appreciate you guys watching, and it really does mean so much to me, however long you watched. But if you're going to comment, please watch it all the way through. It does make sense to do that. That way you don't misspeak or misunderstand me, or, watch it all the way through. That way there's no misunderstanding. If you have any questions, go ahead, leave them. I'm always there to answer as soon as I get them. Try to respond as quickly as possible. So, until the next time or the next video, I hope you enjoy and be nice to one another. Do not dox, bully, harass anybody that I have discussed in either one of these cases at all. I don't give a shit what your justification is. Do not do it. Okay? Just don't. Please, just don't do that. It's not necessary. Plus, it makes you look like a dick. Then there's a chance that somebody else is going to be doing a live stream talking about where you was a dick in my comment thread. And I'm going to be like, yeah, you was being a dick. If you was being a dick, I'm going to call you on it. So don't. Just don't. It takes so much effort to be a jerk, and it takes literally none to be nice. It's almost in most of our natures, I would think. So, be kind to a stranger. I'll see you guys next time. Much love. One love. Good vibes.